the point isn't the not working. The point is that God is the one who rested from his work, and he is the one who does a work in us. Hey guys, welcome to the video today. I'm out here at Merriweather Lookout over the Bass, looking over at my shoulder here. Pretty nice day, but I thought I'd go for a little walk and do the video up here today. Anyways guys, so far we've been going through the book of Mark, and we have seen Jesus showing us that he is God, and he's been doing this by demonstrating that he has power and authority over demons. He has power and authority over temptation, over Satan, over disease, and even power and authority to forgive sin. And today we're going to read how he makes another bold statement that he is even the Lord of the Sabbath. Now, before we read today's Bible verse, I want you to think about these questions. Think about, what is the Sabbath? Maybe you're not sure what that is, but think about, what is the Sabbath? And is the point of the Sabbath to do no work? So just keep these questions in your head as we do today's Bible verse. Alright guys, so I'm going to try to do this coming up a flight of stairs, so hopefully I don't run out of breath. But anyways, the Bible verse today, guys, it comes to us from the book of Mark, chapter 2, verses 23 to 28. Here's what it says. And it happened that he was passing through the grain fields on the Sabbath, and his disciples began to make their way along while picking the heads of grain. And the Pharisees were saying to him, "Look, why are they doing what is not lawful on the Sabbath?" And he said to them, "Have you never read about David, what he did when he was in need, and he and his companions became hungry? How he entered the house of God in the time of Abiathar, the high priest, and he ate the consecrated bread, which is not lawful for anyone to eat, except the priests. And he also gave it to those who were with him." Jesus said to them, "The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord, even of the Sabbath." Alright, made it up those stairs. Anyways, guys, you can see here that they're accusing Jesus and his disciples of not following the rules, but it isn't God's laws that they are worried about here. It's their own made up rules and laws that they themselves, the Pharisees, had made, that they are upset about Jesus and his disciples not adhering to. Now, what does Jesus respond when they say, "Hey, you're not allowed to pick grain to eat on the Sabbath"? Well, he points out the story of David in the Old Testament to show them that, hey, they have the entire reason for the Sabbath backwards. They don't understand it. And Jesus tells them that the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. Alright, well, coming into a little park here, away from the streets, and a bit of shade, which is nice. But listen, to understand this, let's look at what Jesus said. To understand this, let's look at Genesis chapter 2, where God declares, and we see here, he created the Sabbath. So if we read in Genesis chapter 2, verse 3, here's what it says. "Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made." And also, let's look in Exodus, and we see God talking to Moses here about his Sabbath. And here's what it says in Exodus chapter 31, verse 13. "But as for you, speak to the sons of Israel, saying, you shall surely observe my Sabbaths. For this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am the Lord who sanctifies you." Now look, the Sabbath was meant for a sign between God and man, to show that he, God, is the one who sanctifies us, not our own works. It's him who does it. And also, we can see that God himself is the Lord of the Sabbath. He created it for us. Now, unfortunately, the Pharisees, they had not kept the Sabbath holy. Instead, they had made it a burden for everyone, creating all these rules, more rules that God never intended. And then Jesus, he says, he is the Lord of the Sabbath. And the Pharisees, they would have realized when he said this, that he was saying in effect that he was equal to the one who created the Sabbath, that he was God. Now, to call himself the Lord of the Sabbath was to them an outrage beyond comprehension, right? The Pharisees, they did not like this at all, and they were angry about it. And they were very well aware of the fact that God had ordained the Sabbath and that Jesus was declaring himself Lord of the Sabbath, was saying he was God. Now, think about our question, right? Think about that first question you asked at the beginning of the video. What is the Sabbath? And what is it for? Well, it's a day that God ordained as a sign to show us that he is the one who sanctifies us. He's the one who makes us holy. It is not our own works. It's not our own works that does it, which is why we don't work on the Sabbath, right? The point isn't the not working. The point is that God is the one who rested from his work, and he is the one who does a work in us. The problem with all other religions is that they say that we're the ones who work, who follow the rules in order to be holy. And that's how we get to God. But Christianity, it's the opposite of this, right? It's God who does all the work in us who believe in his son, Jesus. And we see Jesus in this passage telling the Pharisees they have it all wrong, right? Their works are not what sanctifies. It is God who does that. And he himself, Jesus, declares himself Lord of the Sabbath. He declares himself God to them. And of course, they don't appreciate this. And as we know, they end up killing him because of this continual talk of himself. Jesus keeps calling himself and equating himself with God. So, how do we keep the Sabbath holy as God commanded us to do, right? Well, we believe in his son, Jesus, and his ability to save us and sanctify us instead of being self-righteous like these Pharisees and believing in our own selves to be able to do this. Remember, God's offering you rest in his son Jesus Christ, who has done the work for us. It's a free gift for all who place their faith in the work on the cross. So guys, thanks for watching the video this week. I'm going to end the video here with a question to you. I'm going to ask, where are you placing your faith? Are you putting your faith in Jesus, the Lord of the Sabbath, the one who did all the work for us to sanctify us and save us and give us eternal life? Or are you putting your faith somewhere else in yourself? Are you putting your faith in your own works and what you can do? Now remember, faith is not a passive act. It is an action. You actively, it's a submission of will. You either submit to God, or you, in rebellion, in a rebellious faith in yourself, you suppress that knowledge of God, you suppress the knowledge of his son, Jesus Christ, and you put your faith in yourself. And Jesus says, if you do that, it only leads to destruction. So, it's my prayer for everyone who watches this that you're putting your faith in Jesus. And if you don't know him, and you don't know about this free gift of faith, go check out the video. And guys, I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching the video this week. And remember, true knowledge is meant to be shared. So go out and tell a friend or 2 or 5 or 10 and tell all those people what you learned this week. And I'll see you next time.